Oh, well, hello. Hopefully that's working in some way. It's asking me to reconnect to Facebook, so that might work or not, but I think I'm going to stop using that platform at some point anyway. Oh, now you have to check your things on another device. She's probably going to mess everything up. Ah! Allow. Brilliant. Ray. Hopefully that's working now. Make all this go away. Sorry for the slightly delayed start, but well, I'm here now. I've got my little message thing, so do feel free to say hello. And yeah, I'll give you a little idea of what it is I'm doing here. You know what, I'm going to try and fix this a little bit. Something around there, I reckon. Maybe back a little bit. There we go. So yeah, so I did this quick little bit of drawing yesterday. Yeah, just playing around with this setup. I've moved some objects. There's a pencil in the foreground and stuff like that. There's a stegosaurus in the wings, but he's not part of it. So an interestingly lit skull, and I've got lighting from both sides. So yeah, since there's already some drawing in, the crucial thing with this is going to be the mixing. And one of the first things I'm going to do is mix this light orangey colour. And I'm really going to have a contrast. I'm going to have an orange side and a green side, and see how that works out. That's my light orangey. Plenty of room to get to highlights and stuff, but if I put a bit of that in somewhere useful earlier on, as in absolutely a marker for that, probably a little bit in there, and definitely for that bit too. And that's all I'll do for that at the moment. There's a green side as well. Now I haven't got a green colour made just yet, but I think I'll probably use some yellow and some black. So I have got some of that left over, and that's just horrible. I don't like that at all. Let's mix it up, see what it does. A bit of mixing white left over. Not too bad. On the yellow. It's a lemony yellow. Quite a cheap transparent one, so it's not a real feature colour. No part of it is anywhere near as light as this, so let's chuck all of that in. Let's chuck in a whole load more yellow. That's a simple mix, but that works pretty well. It's the suitable amount darker. So there's my two lights. Get another brush. Let's pop a bit of that in. This will be another kind of placeholder. That's over there, and that's going to be somewhere. A bit like this. I'm not 100% sure about that. Somewhere around here. A bit like that's too light still. But yeah. Bit of that in there. That'll do. Where else is it? Oh, it's definitely up here. There's a bit of it. It looks very pale at the moment, but on the palette, it's pretty much a neutral sort of grey. Now, where else is that? A few bits down here. So this has all been moved around a little bit. Oh, that's where the pencil was. Where is it now? What about here? That's now a fold, and then that's where the sharpener is. Okay. If I can get these first relationships in, then actually when it comes to doing things like the cloth and stuff, it'll make sense of that and keep it in roughly the right place. So there's this little journey of oranges that are going to go across. It won't be too much. And I'm going to put a bit of grey in there and darken it ever so slightly. Got this warm black lower down that I mixed. Let's see what they do. Yeah, there's definitely some in there. What about in here? More orange. Okay, a lot more orange than that. There we are. A lot more orange in here as well. So the colour temperature is going to be quite important around here. And what about in there? Anywhere else? Can I see it anywhere else? No. Not just yet, but I will. And that will be a useful colour to have. Let's just mix all of that up. Put a bit more of that orange in it. Okay, so I've got a few placeholder colours now. From that, I should be able to do quite a few things. One, there's definitely a darker grey that goes in here. Let's get some mixing white. Let's get a whole lump of yellow, a bit down there, add a little bit of black to it. There's bits where this kind of goes into a purple, so I'll keep the green there. Actually, when I add it to white, see, that's way too white now. Yeah. Darken that off. Miles away. Actually, this white's too strong. Maybe I've got these the wrong way around. I don't think so. No, I think I'll be able to tell. Okay, Make a darker version of that. Make a little bit of purple. And places where I can add a bit of that in. And yeah, let's do it here. There'll be places that are a lot more green as well. Yeah. I'm mixing very small amounts of colour at the moment because I'm not 100% sure, and I'm seeing all these differences. But I'm quite happy for it to go that way. So let's start with this lighter one. And that's going to be around here somewhere. Really get so it's going to be a while before we really see this blocking in doing anything useful. It's going to be a bit there. That's going to have some of the purple in it, but I can put that in there afterwards. And this gets a lot darker around here, but to begin with, yeah, this is mostly where this goes. A bit more. Down there. Actually, I'm seeing more and more of this now. Yeah, let's rub that in. Anywhere else that looks a bit green, that's where that pencil goes. Goes in there. Oh, I've moved the cloth as well, so yeah, all of this is shifting around. Oh yeah, and that eraser, that is roughly in the same place. I don't think I moved that. Maybe it goes up a bit, I don't know. Okay. Where does it get darker? No, that needs to be all be a lot browner. Oh, this is going to take me a little while to find my way into this. I've only just eaten my dinner. Timing didn't work out tonight at all. So, but part of this is the discipline of just sitting myself down at 7 o'clock and doing painting, whatever's happening. And if part of that is learning to just slow down and take my time, yeah, take the pressure off. Got some raw umber here. I think I'll put that out. Maybe I need to paint this in a slightly different way. Oh, a few little comments. Hello. Who's here? Aha. Yes, my grinning friend. I call him Cheerful Tony. That's the name of the skull. Because yeah, he always seems to be in quite a good mood. I'm just going to brush mix this. I'm going to warm this up a little bit. I'm going to put some of these greys in here. There they go. See, that's all wrong. It's just all wrong. Everything's wrong right at the beginning. Okay, if it doesn't go there, where does it go? I think it probably does go a bit under here somewhere. That feels about right. That's completely different colour. That's not dark enough. Yeah, it somehow manages to be wrong in every possible place. What about in here? That is probably the only one even remotely like it, and even then needs a bit of this purpliness. So one tiny little mark just to get that colour there. I haven't got the context. This is not the way to do this at all. This is already going badly. Let's go back to some of that green, see if that changes it. A bit more white in. Once I've found the colour, I need to force myself to stop. Okay, that's too light. To stop and mix a quantity of it that is going to do a job. Right, so not that. Let's put more of that green in. A bit more of that dark grey. Let's see if that does it. Is that it? Closer. Pretty close. Bit more green in it. What about here? Does it work there? No, that's different. Right. Now I've got that, I can say, let's make a load of that grey. Already got a fair bit. Let's use this up as well. Yeah. Let's put the rest of that green in it. Oh, that's not green enough. More of the yellow in there. Does that look about right? It's not really that different to what I mixed before. This looks the same. No, that's lighter, way lighter. This is so subtle already. I'm getting no forgiveness with this at all. Maybe I'm trying to pin it down too soon. Maybe this will do. Maybe this will have to do at the beginning. Right. Also seeing some of those oranges in other places. There's some in here. Definitely a bit more in there. What about in here? Yeah, in there. Let's just pop this in everywhere. There's bits where it goes a bit pinker, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. The darker will turn up later on. Very tricky indeed. Similar kind of thing here then. Let's get some of that grey, a bit more mixing white. Make a load of this orange. Yeah, let's just throw this in. There's an internal fight going on at the moment. I don't know if you can tell. Something that people say to me from time to time is, how do you get your inspiration? And yeah, it's a fun joke question to ask other artists because there's no answer to it, and yet it's a really good question. That's wrong, but until I've got the light, I haven't got anything to compare it to figure out whether it's right. So yeah, because you don't get inspiration, you turn up and you start, and that's all there is to it. And sometimes you turn up and you start and you realize you're in no way prepared mentally or in any other way, you know, practically, to do the thing you're about to set out to try to do. But only by doing it do all of those shortcomings come into a sharp focus, After which point you go, well, I can see all the different ways this is going wrong. And once you see them, you can kind of fix those things, I guess. Or you can fail to fix those things, but at least you're sort of equipped. See, I'm not sure about that, but that's all right. It doesn't matter too much. That light carries on over here. So I'm not feeling unconfident about the drawing. That's okay. Not even feeling particularly unconfident about the colours. I just know they're not right yet, but for the sake of what job they need to do, this is okay. So in there as well. I can change things on the surface. I can brighten it. What I don't want to do too much at the moment is this getting caught up in the fine drawing and edges right at the beginning, and it's like I don't know how to stop myself. So I'm just letting it happen, and I figure I'll fix it later when it becomes apparent in what way it was a terrible idea, which it almost certainly is. But it's like until I do it, I can't remember why it's a terrible idea, even though it's happened 100 times before. There's this act of doing it that has to come before any act of correction. Maybe it's just this desire to respond to things, a bit like, you know, referring to something by its name before you can make up a new name for it. I don't know how I put it exactly. Yeah, so there's a few little things to hang on to. There's a little orangey bit there. Oh, right, so that's all some light peachy colours. It makes one small shift towards the yellow, which is this light colour I've got here. I'm not even going to clean off the brush. I'm just going to let that mix in a bit so I can see that shift and say, does that go here? Or does it go here? Maybe I can't tell where it goes. If that travels across, where does it go? It's about there. If I put this in here, I can get some idea of where my basic colours are. Yeah, that's all changed shape. Some things are still behaving themselves. So we're definitely on the orangey side here, which is kind of what I want. I'm using this cloth again. Yeah, sorry about that. So this has been moved around since the drawing, so at least I'm getting to see it new. That's paler back here. More orange. So yeah, these two are talking to each other now. That's good. So I will lose some of that distinction from one bit to another, but that's all right. I don't mind that being a soft edge even. What about over here? Same thing there. Okay. Where does this get brighter? Okay. Now I'm getting into it. I don't want to get caught up in this too soon, but there are a few sort of extra lights I can see now. There you are. It's going to be a bit here, a bit of back tooth eventually. Maybe some teeth and the bits where the teeth go. Room for some highlights still. Sort of an edge on that. Okay, I'm going over to my green brush now. Started with this shadow colour. That's got nowhere near enough colour in it. I'm just going to put I'm going to pour a little bit of this orange just to soften it up. Use the rest of that green. Yeah, I'm really going to go for it with these green shapes. I'll lighten them later, but at the moment, just getting some of that colour in. Add some green bits in there. Some green toothy bits while I'm going. There's some on the inside of that eye socket, which I don't really want to be thinking of as an eye socket just yet, but there you go. And when it comes to doing the darks where they create that edge, I think I'll be okay. That's mixing with the light on the surface. It's all too soon. All too soon to make firm decisions around that. Put a bit of extra grey in there. So I'm going to need some more of this yellow pretty soon. There's a whole bit of orange, that dark orange, just in here. Oh, now my brushes have swapped over, but I did need that colour. And it's there in the teeth as well. Where else can I see it? That's where I'm going. This is so undisciplined. Maybe I needed a bit of undisciplined. Maybe that's just the mood at the moment. Yeah, let me pop a bit of that in there. You know, I've got this weird, doesn't know if it's orange or green thing going on here. That should have been different. That's darker. Oh, this is all very confused. I don't know what I'm looking at. Yeah, some of this pale green on the inside of that, which tracks across. Okay, let's get some of these tones back, and then I think I'll be pretty well set up. Well, there we go, half an hour in already. Look at that. If I get some of these tones back, then I should be pretty well equipped to do a to understand what needs to come next. There's this dark grey. If I put that in there like that, is that dark enough? No, I think it could go a bit darker. Partly because it's mixing on the surface, but I've got this particular dark colour there, which then comes in. Is that right? I'm not entirely sure. It goes up here as well, and around. And when it comes out, it wanders into here. And that's roughly where my little pencil sharpener is going to be. And that matches up with that thing I did earlier. There are some folds and things, I'll get onto them later. bump, thank you. Sort of wanders up. There's a crease in there somewhere. Once the lights come in, it will make a lot more sense of it. Oh, I've got this. I don't know what that is now. Yeah, this darker orange colour in here. There you are. That sort of travels across. Where else is it? It's in there a bit. A little bit of shadows. It's quite a bit around there. Okay, so I'm really grasping at some stuff here, actually. There's a lot of things I really don't know very well. It gets darker at the top. I'm not being very disciplined about this at all. If I get that orangey colour and I mix a little bit of this violet into it, it should go grey. It should pretty much does. There we are. Where else? A little bit at the bottom of that. A little bit up at the top of there. Getting carried away again. Actually, this is interesting because there is going to be a slightly violet quality to some of these shadows, simply because of how orange it isn't. But it's like a double shadow. Which is why I think I saw it earlier when I was looking at this shadow that goes in here. Where else is it? In here. There you are. It's kind of a double shadow. As is this. There's a bit in here as well. Ah, right. Didn't make the mark I wanted. There's a bit in there. That's not dark enough. Okay, there's going to be room for some more darks in there when the time comes. In the meantime, I've hinted at this shadow of this pencil. Haven't actually put the pencil in yet. That will come. Maybe I'll do that later on. There's this bit here that needs to get a bit warmer. There we go. Is that it? Am I finding the things now? Yeah, some dark there. There'll be some lights that come back in and sort of turn those into teeth at some point. Actually there. What's this doing? Not much. That's going to be a shadow under there. Ah. Okay, so now I'm realizing that dark up there isn't dark enough. Ah, have a little pause, I think. Hey. Ah, I haven't put the filter on the camera yet, so hopefully that doesn't look too shiny from where you are, but I guess we'll see. Yeah. So yeah, really quite subtle at the moment. I don't want to get too carried away with any perfect edges with this. I want the edges to emerge. So I guess that's maybe what I was trying to concentrate on at the moment. And I've definitely got a green side and an orange side. And I could make more of those as well. Now I've got those colours as well. I can see how they extend into different places. So maybe getting some more of the shadows in wouldn't hurt either. Ooh. Well, that was a fun 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. Other little things I can do. I can put in some really sort of just one brush mix, really quite thin paint. A little bit of that just for opacity. And let's see where this goes. Yeah. There's a shape around there somewhere. There's a similar kind of thing for this pencil. And that's where it ends. Probably not exactly in the right place, but near enough. Right, until I've got the background on, that's not relevant. Same with this. There's some darks under here, but I don't need to worry about them yet because they're not important yet. Right, that's enough. That's enough little placeholders. There's a dark shape under there. another one under there. Travels down here. Same under here. Maybe this is sketchy enough. Maybe I don't, or what's the word? I nearly said the word explicative, but I don't know if that's a word. And I doubted myself, and I probably shouldn't have done. I'm sure it probably didn't come from somewhere. As in meaning how much something explains. I don't want to explain too much. There's a dark behind that. And under here. And in there. How far can I go with this blue? And in there. I can get some other colours in this as well. That does the job. That does the thing I want it to do. Really need to keep pausing and calming down. It's like my head's trying to do everything at once. I can't. Oh, I really want to just race through this, and it won't work if I do that. There's already things that are getting away. There's already enough information here for me to just put the highlights on top of that, and that would make it work. What I need is the lights in here. And for that, I've got to go somewhere between this light colour down here, which you can see around that pencil, which wants to be straight and just isn't. That's going to carry on just a little bit here. Yeah, it's a different priority of what one's describing, and I think I always over describe. Funny thing is that, I think one of the things I feel is a strength in sort of my abilities and the things I've practiced is the ability to sort of see clearly the information that's actually going on, especially the abstract relationships that allow you to draw something quite challenging quite quickly, and with a certain amount of sort of fluency and ease. And I think sometimes I take that for granted and feel like I have to do more. So often my paintings probably look best, at least to anyone else, at the very earliest stages before I've kind of filled it all in. And if I could paint that as a finished surface, if that makes sense. I could say, okay, whatever I put in at the beginning, that's really what the painting is going to be. It's not really about. Interesting. So I'm cooling that off, but it's actually getting lighter where I do that. Actually, it needs to be a bit darker. So I'm thinking more and more about how how do I just kind of capture that first stage of making a painting? Because one of the biggest problems is that you think, well, if I just left it there, there's this really unsatisfying paint surface. You know, that scrubby, scratchy bit at the beginning, it's like not ready to look at. But by the time I've gone over it with a sort of a more coherent layer, if you like, that oh, I just had the word, now it's got away. It's there was a word for it. It's not freshness, but I guess it could mean that to a certain extent. It was there again, now it's gone again. Yeah, that thing you get when you just react in those first instants to, you know, instant spontaneity. Yeah, spontaneity can get lost. Those marks I like, and I'm leaving those, and then that reflects under here slightly as well. That works. That sort of travels down a little bit. Still dark, still shadowy. And it's in here too. Only a bit. I'll probably do for that. Need more shadow in here. That's not ready. What about over here? I'm not quite sure that knows what it's doing, but never mind. So once I'm over here, this stuff, it's just not as important. I don't think I need to overly work on that too much. And some soft edges would probably help a great deal. Nothing I can't warm up later. That's fine. Green side, orange side. Right, so those lights here carry on there. And here. But that's not so important anymore. And in here a little bit, including that. Something like that. This is a bit cooler. More orange can always find its way in there, should it be required. That drawing's off. Oh no, it's all right then. Right. This is going to get bright here. And in there. I've gone to the lighter version quite early, but that's okay. I'm confident enough with it. Okay, so some of these shadows, I'm really tempted to start to mix up that colour, but there's some of that in there. Okay, finding new colours now. Is that in here a bit as well? Okay, let's put this orange into a few other places. Could even get some more into here, I think. And probably into there as well. We're also going to have the stripes of the... Oh! Is that right? That's too high up. And here, let's have some of that violety colour. Distinguish it from the green. Is that 1 hour or it's more? I don't know. Been going an hour now. And I think this is actually sort of coming on. I think I just need to make some really deliberate marks now. Some of what I'm doing is just to make this stuff go away, you know, sort of make it ignorable. Oh, yeah. Don't need to fuss about that anymore. Same with up here. That's totally coherent with the cloth. I'm perfectly all right with that. What's above it? I'm doing all this with one brush now. I think that's all right then. Right, let's get some of those lights from above it. I started off with this very light greenish colour. Now it's started to get a bit mucky, but we can go back to it. Green side, peachy side. And this time, let's use a little bit of that too. Okay, let's see what this does. There we are. What else? There's a bit. Yeah, and definitely up here. Oh, big bits of paint just to sort of break up some of those surfaces. What about on the actual skull? There's a bit. Oh, that's too bright. There's a whole bit there, but am I ready for that now? I think I am actually. I think I can put these highlights on with a certain amount of confidence. If I go across to this one, kind of put a bit of that in there. That makes sense. Where else? There's some. I'm not going to get too carried away. Try and describe every last detail of this skull. That's pretty close to everything I'll need. Any more? Any more? No. Stop. Oh, hang on. Definitely stop there. Ah, what about on the teeth? Only on the teeth. Yeah, I suppose there is here. Ah, no. Deliberate mark. That's got to stick out there. Definitely over fiddling now. Stop. And relax. Where else have we got some of those lights in? Weirdly, they kind of go peachier. On some of these edges, I can put them in later on. Any more greeny colours over here? No, I don't think so. Just the tiniest bit at the edge of that. Then it goes into the violets again. Talking about the violets, that green is suitably neutral for me to some writing in it there. Let's put a bit of that in, especially at the edges in here. Now we're talking. We can get a bit of that and a bit of the extra red. We keep painting since I'm not actually mixing right now. Extra red. No, don't need that. This carries on fine. Oh. Kind of an extra shadowy red colour under here. That's a little globe pencil sharpener. So that was South America. Presume that's Australia then. Okay. Okay, now this is just pure brush mix. Pop it on, not dark enough. bit more of a purpley shadow under there. Yeah, that'll do it. Hmm. Right, well, I've got that really dark red on. Put something here. These people drive their cars up the road, and it's very important to them that everyone knows how terrible their taste in music is. But, you know, I presume there's some important reason everyone should know that, but I don't quite know what it is, but there you go. Funny. A little bit more red, but there's this reflected colour in there now. That makes it more orange. A little bit up here. No, even that's redder. What about over here? Maybe that's not so important over there, but I can gesture it in. Be fine. Where else is this? Yeah. Boom. So here it is a bit cooler. Oh, I think the easel there, which I didn't really want to do. Hey. And it gets a bit more orange. There. Hmm. I'll put these bits in sections. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm switching the palette on again. Sometimes I worry about my terrible production values, and then I remember, oh, nobody cares, it's fine. And I relax about it a bit. A few gestural marks in there, nothing too exacting. Same thing over here. That's enough of that, and then fine. Right. Where else does it get very red? Let's have a very red bit there. That'll do for that. I'm going to clean that brush now. I'm going to go back to this little brush mix, and I think this cobalt blue hue is pretty much spot on for Staedtler blue, the superior pencil of choice. It's not quite green enough. For the blue, a little globe over here. Shift it a little bit. More colour. Yeah, and then one little reflected light, which I use a little bit of that green. So one specular highlight there. That's too much, isn't it? It needs to be softer. There you are. Soften that up a bit. What about this side? Pour a little bit of the pink. A little highlight there. Go to that grey. Let's put that on. Oh, go across to our green, borrow a bit of that orange, bit of this green. These are the final bits now, so I get to really have some fun with it. That's gonna, that colour of the eraser on it. It's going to be a bit greener on top. Only a little bit. Oh, that seems like quite a lot. Well, that suggests, I guess, that actually needed to be darker down the side. Stuff getting on my hands. Where's that original colour I had? I can't even find it anymore. Oh, it was over here, wasn't it? It was this. That's that. Right, let's get some of these darks. I'm out of yellow. I need to put more yellow out. Ah. Okay, now we're talking. No, that's the same. What about this? Will this do it? And he does as well. Bit of that under there. A ready orange shadow there. Bit of one there. Not 100% happy with that. It needs to be yellower over this side. The peachy top corner. Ah, well, I'm quite happy with the pencil sharpener. Much less so with this. I'm going to go straight back to a previous brush. I'm actually going to go back into some of these highlight colours. I'm going to redefine that shape. Put a little bit of light behind. Bit in there, it's a nice touch. Okay. Can I do the same thing here? I think I can. Or do I need to completely restart it? Not 100% on that. Get some more of this orangey colour as a light. Pop it there. See if that helps. Oh, you know what? That also. Don't really need to do lettering on the pencil, but there you go. Last thing I will do. Let's go almost all the way to a black. I've got black on the palette this time. Much like when I used the white, none of it's gone on directly. I've just used it to mix with other colours, specifically to make that green, actually. It's quite effective for that. There we go. Right, coming around again. In case anyone's forgotten how terrible the taste of music is, then a little reminder for us all. Thank you very much. How's that? How's that? What's this? Right, now I've got some of these nearly blacks on here. This similar kind of thing with where the teeth go. A bit much, but I can soften it down a little bit. There we go. Now when it comes to the highlights, actually, I can forgive an awful lot with that. An extra deep warm shadow just under there. That's going to help. In here. Actually going to move across slightly. No, I don't need to fiddle more than that. Last thing I need to do, I'm doing most of this with brush mixes tonight. I guess it's just how I'm feeling about it. Dangerous. I'm going to put a bit of oil in there just to make it spread further, which will make it quite shiny. There we are. There's that shape. It's this shape. Yeah, okay. So there's these three hard lines that they kind of need to go in. The blocking in behind them doesn't have to be quite as fussy. We can have a certain amount of dry brushness going off there. Borrow that for over here. It's fine. Keep that crease going inwards. Okay, now I am fiddling. Very last thing. Get a neat brush. Doesn't have to be super tiny, but it does have to be neat. Let's make some warm lights. Just a little bit of yellow in there, just to give it some zing. There we are. Okay, there's a bright light there. Okay, didn't need to do any more with that. The highlight on that. Okay. Any other warm flashes of light? Let's pop a bit in there. Okay, what else? Do with a bit of this, a little bit along here. Okay, will that do for that? I think it probably will. That isn't orange enough. Better. Yes. Okay, a few more warm lights. Turn those oranges up a little bit in places. A little hint of it there. A little bit creeping across up here. Is that doing it? And then the other side is, I think I've already got the bright highlights on for the green, but I could probably find a few more. Ooh. Well, there's some intense concentration there. There we go. Get loading that again. It's not as bright as the one on the warmer side, on the orangey side. That's enough of that. That's already done. Oh, that's probably a good place to stop. Maybe have a bit of a lie down. Could I have done more? Oh, the teeth are all wrong, but and same thing down at the bottom. Is that too much? A little bit too much. No, that's okay. I don't need to fiddle with that anymore. I think I'm done. Thank you for joining me, if anyone did. Sorry, I didn't check the messages really tonight. So let's have a look. Oh, look at that, messages. Let's see what people have written, and I will attempt to respond. Yes, a bit spooky tonight, Josie. Yes, the Valentine's Day thing, quite. And the palette cam, I did put that back on. Yes, lots of gadgetry. Well, it's very nice that people are sort of chipping in and joining in with the whole thing. Hey. Right, let's put everything down. Let's wipe the little bits of paint that have got into my hands. So I went for that. It's really orange on the palette, and it is more orange on the canvas than it looks on the screen. Partly because I've got very neutral bluish light on the canvas, and yeah, quite different lights on the subject matter. Oh, that was what I was going to do. Let's sign it. Let's sign it in red. Why not? Yep. Completely illegible. I'll write my name on the back anyway, so it won't matter. So something I thought I might start doing. I was thinking again about how to make these available in a more direct way than just hanging them in a coffee shop downstairs. So I'm thinking a little bit about the eBay thing. So if I get right in there, you see how that orangeness sort of disappears because it hasn't got that blue light to compare it with. It's still there, but it's more subtle. That's closer to what I'm seeing, although I'm having to zoom right in on that. Then we come back to this on its own. And yeah, if we get right in there. There's my skull. And it's my eraser and my pencil. So sort of spooky, and at the same time, kind of, I don't know, not exactly a memento mori, but it's got a bit of that flavour to it. So yeah, I thought just felt like a fun thing to do tonight, so that's what I did. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.